Hey guys, so this is me doing some customization for my PS4 Pro. I actually have been gaming quite a bit because quarantine, and I newly bought a PS4 from Amazon, so I thought I'd customize it. I bought it before quarantine though, like was just starting, so yeah. So these are paw toe bean caps for your joysticks on any it's supposed to be universal, so you can use it on any one of your controllers from any place. I use it on my PS4 because that's the only controller that I have, because it's the only console that I have. So I chose white and red. White for platinum blonde because Bakugou, and red for Kirishima. You'll get the reference later on when I start going through it. So this is the skin that I purchased to customize. This is a PS4, a regular PS4 skin that I purchased. So I'm actually using two of the larger sheets. You're supposed to mix and match the large sheet next to the small sheet because on the PS4 there's actually a slit down the middle. However, mine is a Pro, so I am going to actually be cutting these in a specific way, so you'll see that later as well. I'm not using any of the console things. It comes with two, but I'm not using any of them, and also the thin sheets, I'm not using those as well. I might make something out of them later on maybe, but for now, yeah. During this video, my camera does not want to focus on certain things, so I'll talk more about that too. So yeah, so first I drew Bakugou. As I said, Bakugou and Kirishima. A couple pointers. There was a very big learning streak for me when I was doing this, to be honest. First off, alcohol-based markers, they don't really blend well together on the paper. It's kind of hard to see me drawing the process overall, because coloring turns out the camera did not want to focus because the glossiness, and because the paper was so glossy, the sticker was so glossy, my pencil, when I drew something with my pencil, and it would look faded to begin with, and then when I put my hand over that, because I'm touching that spot with the palm of my hand to draw on a different area, it started smudging and the pencil just completely disappeared from it, and then I would have to redraw it again. Note that when you're using alcohol-based markers, you can see every single individual brush stroke that you do, so that was difficult. And on top of that, every single time I was coloring, it would start to actually go over the pencil and erase the pencil, so all those marks that I kind of needed to see were trying to disappear, and I would have to go just carefully work my way around them. So that was also something I had trouble with vinyl stickers. I know people use acrylic paints or acrylic paint markers, and that's probably a better option, to be honest, because they are very inky and they dry very matte, like an extra layer on the thing. It's not like alcohol markers where it kind of just soaks into the paper. So perchance, if you want to customize a vinyl sticker you might want to use an acrylic paint marker, or actually just use acrylic paints. My style of art, I use touch markers. I did look online. Someone did use Copics directly on a PS4. So what they did is they spray painted their PS4 and they used Copics and a mixture of acrylic paint markers as well. However, I don't have that many colors in my acrylic paint markers because I only have the colors of the rainbow and that's it. But yeah, so you'll notice my camera really hates focusing on it just because of the shine and everything. And also on top of that, the markers really look faded compared to you actually drawing on a regular piece of paper. I had a lot of trouble. It's not really good for blending, and also you'll notice it's trying to erase like my pencil, like I said before, which is something that I really need. So you'll notice the red isn't as bright and bold as it usually is on regular printing paper. As for the decal, it just wouldn't absorb all of it. Now, they did dry fine. The only issue I had is with outlining. I'll kind of speak more about that later on. But yeah, so right now I am coloring in Bakugou's neck metal piece that he has around his neck. You'll see the silver on camera basically looks like nothing, and that's basically what it is. It's very faded. Saturation is just not good. It's not the camera, it's actually legitimately the actual decal that's doing this to my markers. So stuff that would usually be slightly dark, even though they're light colors on paper, are turning out very light and almost white. So yeah. Now I am coloring in his shirt. Overall, there was a lot of stuff that, like, the things that could have went wrong with me coloring and outlining were actually the things that did go wrong, like, which is the worst. But I would say I really like the outcome of it, so when you see the ending piece, I have to say I am still happy with it, and I enjoyed the process of learning how to, like, work with, like, the decal sticker and stuff like that. It's difficult, and I would say I haven't mastered it because I don't have, like, the correct tools to use on it, but at the same time, for a first try, it's pretty good. I did do a lot of research beforehand, but to be honest, even with like extensive research, I couldn't find all the answers on Google, to be honest. Like, every time I would search up, oh, can you use alcohol-based markers, which is like Copics, I forgot there's another brand, and also I think chameleon markers are also alcohol based, and like touch markers. Can you use it on like a PS4 decal sticker? And right away I didn't get that. I also searched up, can you use it on vinyl stickers? And completely to my surprise, Google just ended up going to different things that had nothing to do with anything I was asking, and I was just like pretty fed up with that. You'll notice, especially on his sleeve, I decided not to draw his gauntlet, but his sleeve, you'll notice like the circles I did around with the green around the silver parts. You'll see, like, you can actually see the streaking and the marks in it. It doesn't blend in well with like the actual thing, so it's not like when I'm coloring in on a piece of paper, like that will be all hidden and it will blend in with each other for the marker color, but for this it was just different. I ended up still using the dark gray that I used that kind of looks like black on paper, but over here you can clearly tell that it's gray, it's not black, which kind of sucks. It was like, you can tell that it's pretty light and it just wasn't showing like how vibrant the markers actually are. I guess it was trying to like absorb into the sheet, but I don't think vinyl, like paper and stickers in general are meant to like be absorbed into like the actual sheet itself. It just doesn't want anything to do with the markers. But yeah, you'll see like technically I should have used a black for this, but I just went with whatever I usually do because I wanted to kind of just shade in with the black as well because I wanted to add shading, so there was that as well. It's not that bad. It's just in terms of like what I thought I wanted to happen and like what I thought would go wrong, it would just completely everything that could have went wrong during this process. So I tried my best. Yeah, so I'm almost done Bakugo. I just need to outline him. So yeah, so this pen, I want to talk about it. It's a Muji ink pen. It's okay when it looks okay when it's on the vinyl. It stuck out more than my other thing, so I use acrylic a Tombow calligraphy marker to actually shade like outline normally on a piece of paper, but it had the same effect because it's called like a calligraphy pen, but it's actually more of a marker with a brush tip on it, like a thin brush tip on it. What happened though is because it's more like a marker, it ended up like my touch markers where it just gets faded instantly, and I'm just like, oh, that doesn't look good. So I ended up using this, and this was before actually, I was filming this in the morning. Most of the coloring I did like the evening before. I swatched both of them, and I thought this pen was okay. And after I actually like did it, you'll notice I smudged it, and the more you rub on it, it actually disappears and just the ink gets stuck to your hands. So it doesn't really stay at all. But I don't really have any markers to or any pens to kind of change it right now, so I'm just being super careful with it. Even though I put out my PS4, you'll see like I just put it like I kind of gave up at that point. So you'll notice like the more you rub on the ink pen, it will just smudge onto your fingers and then just stay on your fingers and like completely disappear from the vinyl. I think the vinyl did not absorb the pen, so when it was drying, it's literally just drying as like this layer that you could take off just by using your sweat and your hands. Because my hands, like, they're pretty sweaty when I was drawing, and basically just smudged it all off. But yeah, I noticed like even when I was putting the stickers on, which you'll see at the end, you'll notice like they just completely come, like some parts completely come off, and then I have to redo them. So yeah. Overall, I like the way it turned out, but I would say like Bakugou does look nice in this drawing, but I would say it was really difficult to work with. Now I'm moving on to Kirishima. I know this video is pretty long because it's like 2 drawings in one, and then I show like a bunch of different things as well. So yeah, but here you'll notice like my camera doesn't really want to pick up so much on the drawing because the sketch is very faded again on the paper. Just something I had to deal with throughout the whole process because for some reason none of the materials I have wanted to stick properly. The only one that stuck properly was the alcohol-based like touch markers, but same thing, they just turned out pretty faded as well. So the whole contrast and like the colors that I was using are not like fully the saturation that I usually get when using a regular printing paper. So now I am shading in Kirishima's hand and then his hair line. I was pretty happy with how he turned out. I have to say the left arm, I kind of notice whenever I draw like the things that look like cogwheels, they're supposed to be shoulder pads. I kind of always accidentally do like different sizes. But I'm just gonna say that's the angle. That's just gonna be the angle. The right one looks a bit too small and the left one looks a bit too wide. So, in my opinion, I don't know what happened there. Overall, like, the whole thing just kind of confused me. I also used a reference for, like, the muscles and stuff. I think what I was going for was the right chest part was supposed to be higher looking than the left chest part because the right chest part, his arm is being raised, so it kind of raises your muscles as well in a certain position. So yeah, And then I am drawing his hair. His hair, you'll notice, it doesn't really look good on camera. It kind of looks pinkish now that I'm looking at it, but I assure you it is a light red. It actually looks like a light red. So yeah, I did take photos, so if you want to see, it will be in my description box below where you see all my social media. If you like and follow those, you'll obviously get like notifications and stuff for new stuff that I post. And yeah, basically you'll see the pictures there, and if you look at the pictures, it'll actually be red. It won't be this pinkish color. I guess on camera it just, the camera wasn't having it either. But yeah, it was okay. I have to say, like, I'm not mad. It's just very, like, this was more of a challenge compared to me drawing on paper, because I've never tried this material out, so it was just like challenge after challenge, and I thought I would like take longer to finish it, but I didn't. It was like, when I was done, I looked at it, it was like an hour's worth of clips, and then I like sped through, and you'll see, like, I actually didn't leave everything like the actual time, so it's speeds through. It's only like a 30-minute video, 34-minute video, so yeah. So here I am shading his hair. I'm really happy with his hair. I'm always like really happy about it. I accidentally used pink on this part for his logo, and then I switched to red. It's cut off anyways, so you won't see his belt. It's there. The coloring for this, to be honest, I think I chose something that looked a bit too magenta for the red, and then I switched out to like a red that was closer, like a bit darker than his hair, and then I go over with like a burgundy to shade in the other parts. So yeah. The geometrical shaping of like the cogwheels and stuff really confuse me half of the time. I'm telling you guys, every time I draw Kirishima in his like uniform like this, his school uniform, like not his school uniform, but his hero suit, I'm gonna be honest, half of the time I'm not getting the cogwheel shape right. It's like I'm good at angles, it's just when I'm drawing him, I like completely forget, because it's supposed to be round, and having the roundness with like the geometry, like the angles, the harsh angles like that, really just, I'm not good at that. So here I am kind of shading it in with a burgundy. Now that I look at it on camera, it looks like red. Like just a dark red, but it's a burgundy. And I shaded in his belt too. To be honest, I would have preferred it to be like his actual, like you could see all of them from like head to foot, like the whole character, but I tend to draw characters like really big, so yeah. And by the way, me putting my hand to the camera like that was basically because I realized it was smudging, like the black was smudging onto my hands, and I was like, wait, what's happening? So yeah, so I was just looking at it the whole time, like it was bothering me. The darker pigmentations, they didn't really fully dry, and I didn't wait till it was fully dry, but then what happened is it started bleeding onto my hands, which was kind of a bad thing too, because several times I almost ruined the drawing, to be honest. For the drawings, I accidentally went over and I was like, wait, it's getting all over the place. I don't want it all over the light colors, because if it goes over there, I can't like erase marker. So yeah, so this is me shading in his sleeve. I also double checked to make sure that none of the marker was like going over me. The bottom right, the stuff that you see is basically the swatches I did overnight. I did not check again. I did not check the pen, like if it would actually smudge. I just thought, oh, it looks fine, like at nighttime, and then in the morning I was like, I'm gonna use it, and here is where I mess up. So I'm shading in his hair, and then I'm going over his face, and then I realized that it is smudging. So yeah, that's me having like a little bit of a freak out about like, oh shoot, the hair is smudging, I need to fix it. So apparently rubbing your hand, like your finger over it, it actually just disappears right away. So it's not a huge problem, it's just really annoying. And then I realized I have to avoid touching like all the parts that I actually drew, like all the parts that I actually outlined already. I have to avoid touching those parts because they're all gonna smudge. Yeah, so this is basically it. Talking for 20 minutes straight. Honestly, this is the first time I've been like talking nonstop because it's like in a voiceover. So I'm outlining his mouth. I still kept the lips. It's hard to see, but I did draw, like, color it like pinkish and stuff like that. To be honest, I really like how I did his teeth this time, and this is me coloring in his collarbone and his neck area. I really like adding detail to the collarbone and stuff like that. And then I'm shading in his and yeah, every time I lift my hand, that's just me checking to make sure I'm not smudging anything. To be honest, I kind of went in this like mode where I was like super cautious and I was like afraid. But that made the outlining take way longer than it usually does because I was so worried I was gonna touch one of the parts that I outlined before and then just shade and then like not shade but smudge it all over the place. So this is me outlining his cogwheel shoulder pads. Yeah, there's like I was debating whether or not I should like outline their muscles, but I decided to do it because that's what I usually do anyways. I did have shading already done, so I'm just doing this to define their muscles more. Because anyways, the shading is good, and then it just needs to look a bit more defined by a little bit of outline. I really like how he turned out. It's like, then again, it's Kirishima, and it's like pretty easy for me to draw. My mic fell. I'm sorry if there was any noise. So this is the galaxy background that I chose. These are all the pieces. There's like the remotes. It came with everything. This is for a PS4 Pro, so the actual stuff that I drew for Kirishima and Bakugou on, that was for a regular PS4, and then this is an actual PS4 Pro. So this is the background that I chose. So I think they were around roughly $25 each for like a set, and then they came with wipes. So this is like, I think all of them come with wipes. So this is like the wet wipe, and then there's like a dry wipe too, so that way you dry it off before just putting your skin on, because to be honest, putting on the skin, like if it's dusty or dirty, that means it'll be stuck underneath and it won't be good for your decal sticker. So yeah, I like how it had that. I learned this trick from a YouTuber who puts on like skins for his consoles, and he shows how to. So what you do is you peel off the sticker and you put it back onto the sheet, but you leave like an inch or so for like one end, and then you line it up and you stick that inch onto the PS4 slowly, and that's basically your base of like sticking on the sticker, which is pretty neat. It's like a good way of doing it instead of like trying to do the whole thing and getting a whole bunch of air bubbles. So I'm just straightening it out now, and what you want to do is you peel off the whole sticker now, but you hold it. I'm flipping my PS4 over so you can see. And what you want to do is slowly inch your way and keep smoothing out the part that's like actually attached, and slowly inch your way to the end of the sticker so that way there's no air bubbles. So my sticker isn't completely on yet. I'm just like halfway there, to be honest. I made sure I tried my best to pat everything down. For a first try of putting on a skin, I have to say it was fairly easy, this technique, and I didn't need like technically speaking, you could use like a blow dryer at the end. I guess that's for the air bubbles and stuff like that, but I didn't need it at all. like the stuff that I got, like the places I got the skins from, they came in like a plastic sheet. The plastic sheet gave instructions, and the last thing is like blow dry it so that way, like I think that's for air bubbles, but I didn't have to do that in the end. It turned out pretty nice. I chose, so there was a orangey yellow galaxy with like a blue galaxy and stuff like that, and I was honestly going to choose that, but that was not for PS4 Pro, so I ended up having to do this. So blue for explosions, I guess, and pink for Red Riot. So yeah, so I chose to do one strip in the front, so the top part, I did that. I got this pretty good. Like, it was like my first time doing it, and it seemed to work pretty nicely. I'm still afraid of the edges though, because it feels like the edges of the stickers could come out. Just because it's wrapping around such a round corner. That's me just patting it down. And then I left the middle black on purpose, just as a design, and I took the bottom one. Now the reason why I did it this way, where it's facing where the disc slot is, because I'm not someone who puts my PS4 on its side. Technically speaking, it's supposed to stand on its side, and it's a slim console. But here's the thing, if like there's ever like any shaking going around in your house, it could potentially fall over, which is my concern. So I decided, like, since I'm always gonna put it on the bottom like this, like flat on a table, I might as well just, have that as like the front where the game slot is. So yeah. And then I took one piece, which is the middle piece. For the middle, I completely forgot that the camera was filming, and I should have like angled it better so you guys can see. So the next one I actually noticed and I angled it better, so you guys can't really see this one, but it's just the center one for this side. I did not choose to do the bottom of the PS4 or the back of the PS4. That's just because it's just a personal choice, because ventilation, supposedly it won't bother the ventilation because it's like the strips and stuff like that, but for a design purpose, I would say, because it's the back anyways, and the bottom, I don't really care too much about showing those off, so they're okay. If you're someone who keeps your PS4 on the side, you might actually, like standing on the side, like the slim way, you might actually want to put like the back piece, like the bottom piece, because people are going to be seeing the bottom piece more often. So this was just all by choice. It depends on who you are, I guess, but supposedly most people put on every single sticker that there is. I've seen people, like when they demonstrate, they usually like put on all of the stickers. So yeah, you can see the side better here. have no idea why I didn't show the other side properly. But yeah. So those are the pieces that I used that I just wanted to show you guys. It also came with controller skins as well, but I'm not going to use those. So I already cut these out. I pre-cut these out. So this is my Kirishima and my Bakugou. I actually, when I was filming, I had to cut it out, but I kind of did Kirishima first, but then I realized his arm was going to kind of overlap Bakugou's, which is what I wanted Kirishima to kind of be in the front, like his arm in front of Bakugou's. So I ended up putting Kirishima back onto like the sticker paper and making sure like he didn't get ruined. I kind of struggled here to peel them off of the backing, but that's alright. I just lined up the bottom first because that's the straight part, and then I slowly worked my way around. Bakugou is, I didn't do like any cutoff for his side of his arm, which is, so he ended up being like, you know, I had to consider that his shoulder was there and like leave room for that. For Kirishima, however, his, that's me thumbs upping myself. I'm like, yes, I did it. Okay. For Kirishima, I actually had one side kind of cut off for his left arm, so I ended up just having that like closer to the edge. Yeah, it's a bit of a sharp point for that. The part that I messed up putting on was the hand, because I was like, oh, the arm is okay, and then turns out like it wasn't. Here I am being super careful because I don't want anything to smudge, and I did get some smudge on me, so the shoulder part, you can't see it, but it's not on properly, and if I pressed down, it would wrinkle, so I had to undo it. And that's not the part. This is the part is here. So that's the shoulder part that was like not going down properly. I was so afraid I was gonna ruin it. And this is the part that really got to me because the pen was actually really just smudging all over, and I was like, it's going all over my hands. So I ended up having to re-outline it afterwards. So you'll see after. So yeah, as I fix that, hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you want to see like pictures of the process work, it will be in my social media, which is in my links in my description box below. Definitely like and follow those. I don't do much big projects like this, to be honest, just because materials wise it was kind of expensive. I think I spent like 60 bucks, almost like 50 to 60 bucks in Canadian just because of this. But yeah, overall it was pretty fun. It just came with a bunch of this other skins like for the controllers that I really didn't need, but I couldn't find like a separate thing, so forced to buy the whole package. But yeah, hope you guys enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. Definitely check out my drawings playlist for all my other drawings videos. I know this video is pretty long. It's like one of my longest, to be honest, but it's just because there was so many things, and also it counted as like 2 drawings too, so yeah. So hope you guys enjoyed this video. Bye.